Hi, so I figured I should probably do a manga chapter review since I don't really review the manga. So here we are, and this is gonna be good. This is the perfect one for me to review because what the fuck happened? What? Jesus, I can't even. Here I am just waking up, which is why I look like a fucking bum ass, and maybe the energy for me to like get mad will come later in the video. But this is just. So I didn't read Manga Stream's version. I read the version on what the fuck? I didn't read Manga Stream's version. I read the version on Viz. It should still be there, right? But Jesus Christ, Toyotaro has fallen off like incredibly. It's incredible how much he's fallen off, and like the signs were there already in the Zamasu arc when you had like fucking. Dude, this is insane. I can't just. I think about the Zamasu arc and I just laugh like out of like despair because I wanted something good in Dragon Ball and we haven't gotten it. And, well, no. Like I said before, there are some good things about Super, but I want like a solid, good Dragon Ball product. And okay, anyway, that's gonna be like something different. That's gonna be like a whole different like fucking rant on Super and. So chapter 27, I am so glad. I never thought that I would say this, right? I never thought that I would say this, but I am so glad that the manga and the anime have such stark differences. For once, the anime did something better than the fucking manga. For once. So let's start with like what the chapter did better, right? So this whole thing, right? This whole fucking usually like how I do Dragon Ball Super, at least how I've done it. I think I did this with the Versus Universe 6 arc, maybe even with Battle. No, I started it with Battle of Gods, right? Yeah. And I remember saying that I think Battle of Gods was better in Super than it was in the movies. I know for damn sure that was the case with like even though it's still pretty meh. In fucking Super. Revival of F is definitely better in Super than it is in the movie, for sure. That's not even a fucking debate. At least I feel so. I probably have to go back and revisit some shit. But yeah, I do think that it is better in Super than the film. At least that's my feeling right now. Without me like going back and rewatching either one of them, right? And goddamn, I'm never gonna rewatch fucking Super. Like I'm so like, Super has just made me so like, ugh. I can't stomach like rewatching an episode of Super. I just can't do it. Not even the Battle of Gods one. Like even though Battle of Gods is like the best thing to come out of like all this new modern like Dragon Ball shit, right? Since 2013 with Super, well since the Battle of Gods movie started, like Super has been like adapting all this like post Dragon Ball Z stuff, like. Easily the best thing with Battle of Gods. Like Battle of Gods is a good film. It has its problems, like a few plot holes here and there. Yeah, sure, but it's not like that doesn't mean that necessarily makes it like a bad film. It's a damn good film. It's a good film. The best DBZ movie, easily. The Dragon Ball movie, I should say in general. Okay, but this man, it's just so disheartening to see like what Super has become and. How more generic of a shonen it has become, because Dragon Ball, when you read Dragon Ball, right, and you compare it to like other shonen, you can tell like this is something different, right, in terms of like how like the characters interact, the focus on characters, shonen tropes that aren't really being, for the most part, aren't really being used in the original manga, in the 80s, 90s manga, right? And now for Super to do that, it's just like, even something as small as Goku getting motion sickness on the fucking time machine thing, right? I can't believe, like, who the fuck finds that shit funny? Who? Do you seriously think that a guy getting motion sickness is funny? No one finds that shit funny. And first of all, that doesn't even work within Goku's character for the first part either. For the simple fact that the dude is like good at like driving and like operating vehicles and shit. Like And that's like that's a very subtle detail in the manga, but if you pay attention, like you can obviously tell, like the guy in the very first chapter, the dude drives a motorcycle at the age of 12 years old, right? And is able to fairly, handle it well, right? Able to use a motorcycle, and that obviously comes from Toriyama's love, his own love for motorcycles, right? Not just for motorcycles, just vehicles in general. The guy without much schooling can operate a fucking spaceship to go into Namek by himself. The guy actually has his driver's license, and you think like it's a good idea to give him fucking motion sickness. It's just total disrespect. Total disrespect for the anyway. This is what is it? 5 minutes and 40 seconds into this, and I haven't even talked about the chapter. Okay, we'll talk about the chapter. We'll talk about chapter 27, right? So let's talk about like what this chapter actually did good. The only one good thing again, it's a Saiyan Z3 talking, right? This is my opinion, is that Vegeta got to spar with Beerus, right? We don't get to see that too many times, Vegeta actually fighting Beerus, right? I mean, yeah, he had that one little spar which made him like a fucking bullshit, like over Super Saiyan 3 level. Like, yeah, like one, oh my god, I don't even want to talk about it, like how fucking retarded and like how that doesn't even make any sense, right? And like, oh, you're so bad because power scaling. Shut the fuck up, right? Shut the fuck up, because if you truly, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say like the whole power scaling thing. Like if you're making fun of me, right? If you're like laughing at me because you think that Vegeta as a Super Saiyan 2 getting mad makes him stronger than the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Like if you think in your heart of hearts, right? Fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Heart of the Cards shit, right? If you think like that is fine with, like, if you think like that there is no problem with that, please evict yourself from the Dragon Ball fan base. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. Better yet, go hang yourself. Yes, fucking kill yourself over Dragon Ball, please. Okay. Anyway, so that's the one good thing, right? We get to see Vegeta fight Beerus, right? There are things that the manga kept for the Universe Survival arc, which are probably bad, right? And those were two things. Goku's saying he's not one to talk about getting a job when he talks with the robbers, which I don't really understand. Sure, I understand that being a farmer isn't the most glamorous of jobs, and it's not like the most white collar of jobs, but I don't think like that warrants a reaction like that. You're not one to talk about getting a job when the dude is like basically a fucking farmer and gets money, and has probably made more money than anyone in the series, right? Goku's probably made more money than anyone in the series. Mine is probably like Mr. Satan and Bulma, right? After them, he's probably the third one with the most fucking money in the world, right? Especially with Ox Kings and like Mr. Satan like helping him, which I guess doesn't count as his money. Well, I mean 50-50 because they are giving it to him, but anyway, that's not the point. It's not too big a deal, but that to me is just still like an awkward line of dialogue. The other thing is that him getting nicked by a bullet, which that's not a major problem either. I don't want people to think like, now you're being too strict on the power scaling stuff that he's getting nicked by a bullet. I mean, it's a slight problem, but I don't think like you should spend like so much time on it, like, oh my god, Goku got nicked by a bullet. How does that fucking make any sense? I don't think that really matters. Like, it's just like, it's not like he was like in excruciating pain or anything after getting hit. It was just like a mark. So, and honestly, like, even though the guy can survive like fucking planet explosions and all that, straight energy beams to his body and come out unscathed, I think that's how you say it. I'm fine with the bullet just like nicking him. I don't. It's not a major problem. Is it a problem? I guess technically yes, but not a major one. Now we'll get to why this chapter is such a crock of shit. So again, this is Viz's translation, right? So Goku needs time. So the first problem is that Goku needs time to understand he's being robbed. And once again, Super is once again making Goku too fucking retarded. So that's the first problem. The robbers are robbing him, and he goes like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Or I don't have the chapter up in front of me right now. Again, like I'd read this before, but it was something about like he needs time to understand that he's being robbed, and that is just complete disrespect of the character. Like I don't care like how many times you've watched the anime. If you've read the manga and you've paid attention, you know Goku isn't stupid. He's not stupid, right? He's not the smartest person in the world. No one's saying that, but the guy isn't stupid. If Goku was being robbed back in Dragon Ball Z, he would know that he is being robbed. Not like in Super, like right now when he's going like, oh, I'm not, oh, like what are you guys doing? Why would you guys need that? Like Goku in the Androids arc and Goku in the Majin Buu arc, right? In the Majin Buu arc. That sort of situation where he understands that he doesn't understand that he's being robbed would not be within his character. It just wouldn't. It just wouldn't. For a multitude of reasons. The guy has smart dialogue. The guy is smart enough to do this and that and this and that. He can understand he's being robbed. So Toyotaro fucked up on that again. Number 2, the second problem is that when before Vegeta fights Beerus starts getting irked, then Goku and Vegeta will be his rivals, right? This to me makes no fucking sense, right? So like the Oracle Fish tells Beerus that Goku and Vegeta will be your rivals someday. And then he goes and he starts getting frustrated and mad for some reason, right? To me, this doesn't make any sense because at the end of Battle of Gods, he knew that they had that potential to be his rivals. He himself acknowledged, like said out loud, Goku and Vegeta can be like good like rivals to him. So why in the fuck are you irked that they're going to be your rivals one day? That makes no sense. And Toyotaro has like completely like shit the bed by like trying to do that. So I don't know what the fuck Toyotaro is thinking by drawing or writing that. Then chapter 27, once again remember back like in my Zamasu manga arc review, I remember like I was making a big deal about Vegito saying like Zamasu, or like when Goku and Vegeta fused into Vegito, he said like he had some line of dialogue about him being, it was some very like obvious like blatant like line of dialogue, right? It was about like Zamasu like laughing like a psycho or something, right? And remember my criticism about that being like, what, first of all, like that is like a trash line of dialogue. What the fuck kind of line of dialogue? Oh, that's why you were laughing like a psycho. Like, who the fuck publicly like acknowledges that shit? You watch an anime, who the fuck says that shit? Who the fuck said, like, when you're fighting like a villain, right? Fuck Dragon Ball, right? Forget Dragon Ball for a second. You're like in any anime, right? We'll just say like any action or shonen anime, right? And you're fighting some villain, right, who has some sort of like some really like fucked up goal or something, or some fucked up personality, right? And he starts laughing maniacally, he or she starts laughing maniacally. Who the fuck starts to acknowledge that by saying, ha ha ha, that's why you're laughing like a psycho, right? Isn't that like the most like blatant, like what's the purpose of that? Like why would you say that? Right? That's supposed to be like, even though it's not technically subtle, right? You're not supposed to like come out and like fucking like publicly acknowledge that shit, right? We have another case of that happening in this chapter, right? When Whis like the Oracle Fish, right? Or Whis asks the Oracle Fish like why Beerus is so mad, and then Oracle Fish tells him like, oh, because you know Goku and Vegeta will be his rivals one day, and then Whis, the problem comes when like Whis says like, oh, that's why. You've just devoted like 3, 4, 5 panels to that for no reason. It doesn't accomplish anything, and you completely kill, like, even though it's not an overtly subdued like exchange of information, exchange of dialogue between characters, right? I'm talking about Beerus and Oracle Fish here, right? But by Whis saying that, you completely like erase that, right? You completely erase that. It just goes to show that you, like Toyotaro, that you don't have a solid understanding of how fucking characters should interact, or like what the dialogue should be, like what natural dialogue is, right? Now the thing is, I don't want to like I say that I'm not a fucking professional writer, right? Like I was not good at English in fucking school, right? But just as a reader, right? A reader and as a fan of Dragon Ball, for me to go through that, to read that shit, I literally, right? I'm not saying this to exaggerate for the sake of the video. I literally like facepalmed like this, without like no one was watching me. I was by myself, right? I was there in my fucking room, like with my laptop, right? Just sitting down reading this shit, and I went like this. So that's the third problem. The fourth problem is this whole Mastered Super Saiyan Blue garbage. I don't know what the fuck Mastered Super Saiyan Blue is, right? I don't know what the, like, Well, no, no. I mean, I do know what it is because, like, when I read the manga, like, I'm able to understand, like, what the concept of it is. It's like sealing the power of Super Saiyan Blue within your body and not be like, dude, this is the, oh my god, it's like sealing the power of Super Saiyan Blue within your body or some shit, right? Which I don't even know what that means, right? Like, did Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, did even Super Saiyan 4 have that, right? Super Saiyan 4 at the most, right, had this thing called Full Power Super Saiyan 4, which is when Goku fought, like, when he had, like, his quote-unquote final round or whatever with Baby, right? When Baby was, like, that golden Uzaru, right? In Vegeta's body. He had Pan, Gohan, Goten, and Trunks, like, contribute their ki, like, to him, right? Kind of like what happens at the end of the Broly movie, right? Or what happens at the end of the Trunks arc in the anime when, like, Goku and Vegeta all, like, give their, or I should specifically say those who give their energy to Trunks, right? Oh my god, I just thought about that shit and I'm laughing. Okay, anyway, right? So, contributing their energy to him made Goku a full power Super Saiyan 4, right? Like, that's, like, it doesn't make sense that, like, fucking Gohan, Goten, and Trunks at that point in GT and Pan will make Goku strong enough to fight fucking Golden Uzaru when Super Saiyan 4 is obviously weaker than him at that time, right? That doesn't make any sense, but, you know, at least you can understand the logic. Like, you know what happens. Like, people gave him ki, he got stronger, right? You don't even know what the fuck Mastered Super Saiyan Blue is. Like, what the fuck is this? Sealed the power of Super Saiyan Blue within his own body? Like, what does that even mean? Like, motherfucker, you're transforming into Super Saiyan Blue. You have the power of the form. What does it mean to seal it within your body? What does that even mean? Like, like, seriously, I'm trying to, like, I was trying to, like, dissect this shit and understand, like, what that meant. Like, seal the power of Super Saiyan Blue inside your body. And I can understand, like, what that meant in Hunter x Hunter, right? Like, Hunter x Hunter, when you have Nen, like, it can leak and stuff, right? Like, when you have Aura, like, it can leak, right? And you can, like, lose, like, ki, energy, power, whatever, right? By doing that. But, like, this, like, Dragon Ball isn't like that. Dragon Ball isn't like fucking Nen. I mean, well, correction. Ki has some similarities with the Nen, but this isn't one of them. You don't lose fucking, what the fuck? That's like, Jesus Christ, dude. That's like fucking like Goku transforming into Super Saiyan 3 and the fucking, like, raging, like, flame-esque ki that he has as a Super Saiyan 3. Like, it's so intense that he's losing ki because of his fucking aura. And that's basically like you look at Mastered Super Saiyan Blue. It's just Super Saiyan Blue without the aura. Like, what the fuck is that? Mastered Super Saiyan Blue. Like, why? And it brings up a good point, because people on Twitter were saying, like, what's the point? Like, why do you have to master Super Saiyan Blue anyway, when you haven't even mastered Super Saiyan God, right? You haven't even mastered. I guess in the case of Goku, he has, because Toriyama does say that he doesn't need to transform anymore because he's made its power its own. And obviously that statement is now bullshit, because he's transformed into Super Saiyan God in both the anime and the manga, right? Fuck me, dude. But it's just like the point of Super Saiyan Blue. When Super Saiyan Blue first appeared in Revival of F, and those Japanese people went to the movie theater to watch that film, and then they got the pamphlet, right? And in the pamphlet, it explained what Super Saiyan Blue is. It's the power. It's a guy who has achieved the power of Super Saiyan God, who is then transformed into a Super Saiyan, basically, right? And it's made them calm, right? They're calm. Now, obviously, that's bullshit, because so many times in the series and in the fucking manga, we've seen Super Saiyan Blues or Goku and Vegeta, and they're Super Saiyan Blue, and they're not calm. They have, like, distressed emotions, like, on their face, or intense emotions, or very animated emotions, like, expressions, like, on their face, right? So they're not fucking calm. So that's another thing, like, where you don't take Toriyama seriously again, right? He's not fucking calm. And the whole calm thing also extended to, like, their ki control, right? Now, obviously, like, you don't necessarily have a way to prove that, but if Mastered Super Saiyan, like Super Saiyan Stage 4 from the Androids arc, was any indication, Super Saiyan Blue is, like, basically the same thing. Like, you're not losing ki, right? So why the fuck would you have to master it? But again, like, this is, like, do you see like the problem here? We have one thing said by an author, right? Who who for whatever reason, like his information is just being like disregarded. I think in some cases for the good, right? Like for the greater good. Because let's face it, at this point, like Toriyama, from what I can tell, is just like he's retcon shit. He's fucking Toriyama's retcon shit. He's fucking either him or Toyotaro or someone has completely created plot holes within their story. And just disregarded and kept on changing shit, or just completely forgot shit, right? So you have that, and someone who doesn't really care about manga. You have an author in Toyotaro who is a fan artist, and has just made this retarded dumb shit like mastered Super Saiyan Blue and all this, making Goku dumber, at least in the manga. And Goku's definitely dumber in the anime too, but so you have that, and then you have Toei with like a bunch of amateurish writers. You just have like amateurish writers, with like fucking, especially Atsuhiro Tomioka. That dude needs to be fired. He should not touch Dragon Ball Super. He should not touch Dragon Ball Super, right? I don't wish for like people to like. This is more serious than it needs to be, but like Atsuhiro Tomioka needs to go back to Pokemon. Honestly, like just don't touch Dragon Ball, please. Don't. I'm sure he'll find work on some other anime, right? Like, and people take my shit like very seriously. So I'm just saying, like please, like, these motherfuckers stop writing, right? Unless you're Yoshitaka Toshio, who is somewhat good, right? And even though King Ryu oh my god, that Roshi episode was so bad, but like even though he can somewhat create. Actually, no. King Ryu can go to, right? Just have Yoshitaka Toshio, right? And whoever the fuck, like who's the other writer that was actually like somewhat okay, right? I forget his name. Anyway, fuck it. Yoshitaka Toshio, right? Like he should be the only one that should stay, because he's the only one that I think like you can actually like convince, right? Or like tell, like actually he's the only writer like where you can like fucking like when you watch an episode, right? You can tell like he actually gets it, and you don't have to correct him on shit, right? Well, actually, no, you do have to correct him on some stuff, but it's not like King Ryu or Atsuhiro Tomioka, where you watch their episodes and you understand like these dudes just don't get it, or they're just doing like something different that has nothing at all to do with the character. Anyway, I'm going off in another direction. Anyway, yeah. So Mastered Super Saiyan Blue is just Super Saiyan Blue without the aura, and it's just fucking bullshit. So that's problem number 4, right? Problem number 5 is that Vegeta closes the gap when he does that with Goku in a matter of seconds, right? That's just fucking stupid. Vegeta out of nowhere, right? Right? Even though he had been training with Whis before, so I guess like there's a small inkling of an explanation. Right? Oh, and by the way, it's been a few years since Vegeta fought Beerus, right? Which completely fucks the timeline once again, because at the end of Dragon Ball Z, Bulma tells Goku that he hasn't seen him in 5 years. So, yeah, once again, like, that's being fucked, and we're very close now to Oob, because he says that it's been a few years, right? I mean, what's few? Few to me is like 4, right? It could be like less, but few to me I've always taken as like 4, right? That's just me, though. Anyway. Fuck. Okay, so yeah, Vegeta closes the gap with Goku in a matter of seconds by going Super Saiyan Blue. Now, to be honest, Vegeta should have been stronger than him during the Zamasu arc to begin with. I don't know why Goku, like, and you guys know how much, like the whole Goku-Vegeta rivalry, like, I talk about that shit, right? And at least how much in Z, like, it wasn't really even a rivalry. And now they're trying to make it like fucking Naruto and Sasuke and Super or some shit like that, right? They're trying to go down that route. Make it fucking Naruto and Sasuke, or I don't know, like I don't know, like something like that, right? So some fucking bullshit like that. And Vegeta closes the gap with him in a matter of seconds. So yeah, that's bullshit. But honestly, like Vegeta should have been like I'm one like even though the Zamasu arc sucks ass, right? Like, even though that's, like, one of the worst arcs in all fucking Dragon Ball, and probably, like, one of the worst things, like, I've ever watched, period, right? Even though Zamasu just, like, sucks, like, overall, right? The fact of the matter is that Vegeta actually trained, right, in the fucking Room of Spirit and Time, the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, and Goku didn't. He just learned the Mafuba, right? Vegeta should be stronger than him during the Zamasu arc to begin with. He should have been. Vegeta should be stronger than Goku at the end of the Zamasu arc, but he's not. Because of Mastered Super Saiyan Blue shit, and in the anime, Goku has Kaioken times 10, right? And as much as I like Goku, as much as he's my favorite character ever, those are just artificial means to make him stronger than Vegeta. Now, of course, both the anime and Super in general have wanked Vegeta in some respect. Him getting stronger than Super Saiyan 3. Him having him kicking Goku away in the anime, and just him, overall just shitting on Goku in the anime, right? At least in those early, 2 arcs. Him getting 3 fights, or him doing majority of the work in the Universe 6 arc, right? A whole bunch of shit. Vegeta has been wanked, a whole lot, in Super in general, right? But, honestly, this is just, he closes the gap with Goku after he did his bullshit Mastered Super Saiyan Blue in a matter of seconds, right? Vegeta just Mastered Super Saiyan Blue, out of nowhere. How the fuck does he do that? Fuck. So that's problem number 5. Problem number 6. Vegeta still hasn't gotten over his weakness since Revival of F, which is, like I said, since Battle of Gods, which is apparently years ago. It's apparently years ago. Vegeta still hasn't gotten over his weakness. His whole, he's too tense bullshit. Oh, fuck, man. I'm getting a headache. Why is Vegeta still tense? How the fuck has he mastered Super Saiyan Blue if he hasn't gotten over his weakness? That's what I want to fucking know. How the fuck has he gotten over that? What does that even mean? He's too tense. Everyone is too tense. Frieza has gotten tense. Goku's gotten too tense. Gohan has gotten too tense. Piccolo has gotten too tense. Everyone has that fucking weakness. Cell has gotten too tense. Everyone, when their back is against the wall, has gotten tense. So what kind of weakness is, what does that even mean? What do you mean, you're too tense? When Vegeta was fighting Cell, he certainly looked fucking relaxed in his second form. When he fought what's his name, Pui Pui, he was certainly relaxed. When he fought Boo, right, at the end of the Boo arc, he was certainly relaxed because he knew what his job was. He was there to stall time for Goku to muster enough ki as a Super Saiyan 3 to supposedly kill Boo, which obviously we know wouldn't have worked. But the fact that, he knew that he was weaker than Boo at that time and still did something means that he wasn't fucking tense. Why is this a weakness? What do you think? Seriously, whoever made this shit just made that shit up, on the spot, obviously. We know, Toriyama just makes shit up on the spot without thinking about, further consequences. But that's just, fucking stupid. That's just fucking stupid. At least, when he did that shit back in Dragon Ball in the manga, right? At least, he would, chain together. He would have enough foresight and enough care to make that shit, make sense. And now that he's doing this, either one, he's senile, or two, it was his editor that made him, think about that shit. Because honestly, Super, oh god, I can't even vocalize it, properly. You just look at Super, and you compare it to Z. Just forget nostalgia glasses, forget, fucking, all this shit, right? Forget power scaling. Or actually, no, don't forget power scaling. But, just forget, all, Super versus Z, fucking, vitriol for a second, right? Just be honest with yourself. Compare Z's dialogue, Z's tension, Z's, how it crafts a narrative. Compare that to fucking Super. And honestly ask yourself, is Super, even a tenth, as good as that shit that we got? Not only in Z, but even in Dragon Ball, right? Or I should just say the Dragon... I say Dragon Ball Z because, I'm separating the two, just trying to compare, the fucking, different parts, right? Because obviously, yeah, it's one manga, but, the tone is pretty different in Z than it is to Dragon Ball, right? It's a lot more, serious, not as much humor, and, even though there is humor, but, anyway. It's just, it's so, disheartening, right? When you care about a series that much, which has affected you so much, in your life, and you see, what it has fucking become. Okay, so that's problem number 6. Vegeta still hasn't gotten over his weakness. And I guess this is kind of like point number 7, which is kind of like a sub point of point number 6 for like things that the manga made worse, or why chapter 27 is such bullshit. It's not really a point that is unique to this arc, but the idea that Vegeta can all of a sudden be able to fight anyone once his body reacts on its own, like, Jesus Christ, that is, oh my god, I don't know what the fuck, like, let me repeat that again, right? The whole thing is that Vegeta is too tense and that he needs to, like, have his body react on its own. To me, that is fucking laughable. That is fucking laughable. I can't believe that shit, dude. I can't believe that Vegeta's answer to his weakness is just to have his body react on its own. So let's think about like what this means, right? Let's think about like what it means. And I never really talked about this back in the revival of F arc, right? I think I talked about it with Goku and him constantly like keeping his guard up, right? Which to me was bullshit, because you're not gonna, like, no person, not just any fighter, no person, right? Not even like hard asses like fucking Akuma from Street Fighter always have their guard up. If you're a person and you're gonna say like I always have my guard up, no person in the history of fiction and real life is ever like that, right? Or at least if there is, like, please show me, because I've never heard of someone like, okay, fuck. Anyway, that's Goku. Let's talk about Vegeta. The idea that he can fight anyone once his body reacts on its own is just fucking laughable. Like, just think about that. I'm not in conscious thought of my body, right? I'm like some fucking like master martial artist, like top 2, 3 like in the fucking universe, right? So I'm not thinking, but I just go out like that, right? Like this is my right arm, right? Like I just throw out a jab, right? I just throw out like a fucking like flicker jab, like a Mashiba from Hajime no Ippo, right? Right? The idea that by just like feeling like my shit out, right? Feeling my shit out and like just like reacting like, oh, like I'm not thinking, right? My body's just reacting on my own. The fact that you think I can fight anyone like that is fucking horrendous, laughable, and an insult to the intelligence of the fucking viewers. That is just laughable. You're just making shit up. You could, dude. Vegeta's gonna be able to fight anyone in the entire Dragon Ball verse because his body can just react on its own. He's not gonna be thinking. He's not gonna be conscious about like where he throws a jab and shit, right? It's just gonna be like instinct, pure instinct. He's gonna win on pure instinct, basically. And I can't even laugh right. I can't even. Again, like I just woke up, but it's just like, Jesus, this energy, man. Fucking Toyotaro, you fucking dumbass. Okay, so that's point number 7. And now we get to the final point, point number 8, which is Goku not being there for Gohan's birth. When I read this, it was, like, I wasn't, like, as mad. Like, I know I tweeted about it, like, on Twitter, but it's just, like, once again, you're playing to the meme that Goku is a bad father, and that's a reason why Super sucks, because it plays to memes, or the most tired of Super's memes, like Goku being a bad father, Piccolo like being good, Piccolo and Vegeta being like good with kids or something, and Yamcha's dead body Yamcha's whole dead body like pose, which I don't even know like why that's a meme. Like it's fucking stupid. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, I like Goku not being there for Gohan's birth. Yeah, it's like fucking stupid and retarded and a problem, but it doesn't make me as mad as it should. I don't know, like if it's the way that like Toyotaro like drew like, or like the flow of that scene or whatever, but it's just like, yeah. Anyway, like I'm losing steam at this point. This video is losing its steam at this point. So yeah. Fuck Chapter 27 of Dragon Ball Super. And Toyotaro should feel ashamed. I hope people say like not to like criticize the writers, but honestly, like without harsh criticism, like if you don't like criticize like shit like this, right, and you don't try to make them like understand like why they're writing doesn't make sense, right? Or like, and especially like I don't want to like suck my own dick here, right? But I consider myself like a very passionate, knowledgeable Dragon Ball fan, right? And I do think, right? On one hand, I do think my word like means something, right? At least within like internet discourse, right? On the other hand, I realize like it doesn't, because I'm just some fucking nobody on the internet, right? So it's a juxtaposition of the two, right? But I truly hope criticism like this is reaching the ears of Super's writers, right? And I truly hope like people aren't like those people aren't just being like, oh, these guys are just haters. Don't listen to them. At least I hope like intelligent criticism, right? Which I shamelessly say is this video, which I shamelessly say has been like all my criticism of Super. And again, I'm not trying to be arrogant by saying that. I'm just like, it's truly what I believe. I hope intelligent criticism like that is reaching their ears. Because honestly, like 2 years, 2 years at this point now, and Super is still shit. And Super is confirmed to go on to what, like episode 130 or something like that. I think like yeah, that's true. Yeah, it just makes me so sad, yo. Yeah. So yeah, fuck chapter 27 of Dragon Ball Super.